Today we're going to make a fish pie. The one I've got here has a topping of mashed potato, and actually it's not just mashed potato, it's mashed potato with sweet potato, so sweet potato and normal potato. But the one I'm going to show you just now is I'm going to make it with puff pastry. So it's going to have a puff pastry topping. So what I've done is I've poached my fish in milk. So all I've done is put the fish into the pan. I've put enough milk over the top of the fish just to cover, and I've poached it. And literally, as soon as it starts falling apart, it's done. All right. Okay. So I'm going to take that out. It's cool now, but obviously be careful if it's still hot. And I'm just going to flake that into my pie dish. Okay. Like I said, this is a super easy recipe. If there's a bit of skin, I've got a little bit of skin there, just take that off. You don't want that. Okay, so that's lovely like that. Now the thing about fish pie, or my thinking about fish pie, is that it needs to be very well seasoned. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that milk to the side. In this pan here, I've cooked off some onion. I've got red onion and I've got normal onion, and I've got a few mushrooms which I have sliced up. And to make this just a little bit quicker, all I'm going to do is my thickening agent is going to be corn flour, okay, corn flour rather than flour. So I've got my corn flour there. I'm going to add a little bit of water. You could use milk if you prefer. And I'm just going to make a paste with that. It's important you do make a paste before you pour it into the milk. Otherwise, what will happen is you'll have a very lumpy sauce, and you don't really want that, okay? So I'm bringing this up to temperature now. I'm going to pour in the milk that I poached the fish in, all right? So I don't mind if there's a few bits of fish in there as well, that doesn't matter, all right? And give that a stir, and I don't know if that's going to be enough milk right now, but I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to pour in my corn flour and see how thick the sauce is. I'm going to season the sauce very well. I'm going to use mustard powder because I just like mustard powder, but you can use mustard if you don't have mustard powder. I'm going to use some nutmeg, and I'm going to use just some normal pepper, all right? So you can see that it's already turning thick, okay? If you don't want your sauce to be very rich, you can always use a little bit of water to thin it down if you prefer. I'm going to use a little tiny bit more milk, but I'm not going to put too much in because I want it to be a thick sauce because I'm going to pop the pastry over the top. So it's important that the corn flour boils, thickens. I'm going to put a little bit of herbs. Those are chives, just to give it more flavour there. And then all I'm going to do is put that sauce, now it's boiling, like that. I'm going to pop that over the fish. You could, if you wanted to, and you preferred, you could put the fish into the sauce. It doesn't matter, you can do it either way. And you can make it, but the corn flour makes it a lot easier to thicken than it would do if you had to make a roux, which is like a white sauce or bechamel sauce, like that. Okay, so let that sit a minute, and then you're going to take your puff pastry. All right, so you need to, if it's frozen, you have to defrost it and then leave it in the fridge. And I'm just going to take a piece of the puff pastry, place it on the top of my dish, and I'm just going to crimp it. I'm just using my finger, but you could use, if you prefer, you can use a fork, and you just go round the edge like that. And then you're going to brush that with a little bit of beaten egg. If you don't want to use beaten egg, you don't want to use a whole egg, you could quite easily just use some milk. And I'm just going to brush the top of that lovely pie like that. And it's important that you make a hole in the middle of the pie just to let the steam out so that the pie can puff up nicely. And what you can do with these little extra bits, if you would like, is you can just lie them across a bit like little fishes, like that. I'm sure you can make them look a lot nicer than mine, like that. I'm not going to forget that little punch in the hole. Also, what you can do with the edges is you can just take a fork and crimp the edges just to give it a little bit more of a sort of rustic look about it, and then just pop a little hole in there, and then you pop that into a really hot oven, a 220 oven, and that should be cooked. It's only a small pie, in about, I would say, between 10 and 15 minutes. And there you have it. So the two different ones, one with puff pastry and one with a lovely mashed potato. Enjoy.